And just to kind of give a little bit of background on People and Work, we are an independent charity, independent Welsh charity. We've been around for over 30 years. We do a lot of work with the public and voluntary sector, evaluation and research work, looking particularly around, historically, we came from the slim down of the Llanwern Steelworks, where we were looking at the relationship between what was happening in communities and work. But inevitably, over the years, our work has become much more focused on education as the key tool to accessing work. So although we still are in the end focused on work, it is about how do you access that work. We did the evaluation of the predecessor to PDG, which was the RAISE programme. Over a number of years, we've done research into why young people disengage from school for the Welsh Government. We've done quite a lot of work for the Welsh Government. We've done a lot recently looking at special needs and additional learning needs. But we also run our own programmes in partnership with community organisations. And we've most recently worked for over 7 years in one particular community in the South Wales Valleys, where one of the things that we did in that community was to follow a cohort of 2-year groups, 43 children altogether, as they went from primary school through the secondary school and out to the other end, working with them and their families, both observing what was happening with them, but also intervening and trying to provide additional support where that was useful. Because in our experience, the issue is not so much with the policies, it's with the delivery of those policies, and how you actually get that aspirational, motivational, visionary approach to be delivered in a culture which is still very, as we've heard from Christala just now, very much target-driven, very much about finding outcomes as quickly as possible, measurable outcomes as quickly as possible, and trying to shift things forward. We have a project where over 40 young women have, I'm going to ask about the history of this, but anyway, have formed a rugby club, and they are absolutely loving rugby. These are 14 to 18-year-old young women playing rugby. They meet 2 or 3 times a week. They play on a Sunday. They're having an absolutely fantastic time. But you get agencies in the room to talk to them, and immediately they start saying, that's brilliant, because we can do our sexual health work with them. Or we could get our drugs and alcohol courses being run with them. And that's about ticking their boxes. It's not recognising that those young women don't need drug and alcohol abuse courses, because actually they're not taking any drugs. And if they are getting drunk, it's on a Sunday night after the rugby. So it's not actually recognising that there are other things to be gained from working with these young people. I think we would argue that what the blame game does is it informs policy, that we need to be working with families to get them more aspirational. We need to be working with communities to get them more focused on school and what they need to do. We need to be working with schools particularly, because they're doing it all wrong. You know, no matter what we do, somehow it's going wrong. But actually, it avoids having to change the way we work. If we can blame someone else, we're not actually looking at, are we doing this the best way we can?